guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in 2025. I have a list of them right next to me. I read 31, which is the lowest since I started reading frequently, but it was a busy year. So you know what, I'm going to try to do better this year and get to 40. Anyways, I'm going to show you what I'm reading right now. This just came in the mail yesterday. My dear friend Becca got it for me. It's the second book following Heated Rivalry characters, Ilya and Shane, and I didn't read Heated Rivalry, but I watched the show, so I want to read their second book. I'm so excited for that. Anyways, the first book that I read last year is Love of My Afterlife. It was a good book. It was a quick read. But I don't love magic in books, but I still enjoyed it, so I gave it a 3-star rating. The second book I read was Taming Seven. Taming Seven was probably my second favorite of the series. I love Gibbsy. I love like sad, emotional romance books, and that's what this was. So yeah, it was really good and I would recommend it. Okay, next I read Long Island, and I read the first one, Brooklyn, the year before, and I really enjoyed it. This one I didn't like as much. I found it a little less interesting, so I gave it 3 stars. I don't even remember what happened at the end, which means it didn't like stick with me, you know? Next I read Animal Farm, which is kind of out of my comfort zone, but it was recommended to me, and I know it's a really popular book, so I wanted to read it. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. It just wasn't like crazy amazing, or at least in my opinion, but it was a good read and I'm glad that I read it because it's like a classic, you know? Then I read My Fault, which is the Culpa Mia book. I read this book after I already watched the first 2 movies, and it was good, but I think the movie was better. I don't know, I didn't love the writing, just for me, but I obviously like the story because I love the movies, or at least the first 2 movies I love. No shade though. Yeah, so I gave it 3 stars. Next, I read The Virgin Suicides, and I was really excited to read this book because I know it's really popular and I really want to watch the movie. I still haven't watched the movie actually, but it was a good book. I remember the vibe of it more than I remember exactly what happened, but I gave it 3 stars just because I think it was different than what I was expecting. I didn't love it, but I still enjoyed it. Okay, next I read Sunrise on the Reaping because I love Hunger Games, and obviously if there's a new one, I'm invested. I did really enjoy it and I'm really excited for the movie. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was so good. However, I do like Catching Fire and saw Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a little more. I gave those ones 5 stars, so you know, it's still up there, of course. I love all the Hunger Games, but next I read Shatter Me because it's a really popular book and I want to be included, but it was pretty good. It was a really quick read. I gave it 4 stars, but I just felt like nothing that crazy happened yet, so I just gave it 4 stars, but next I read The Bodyguard. Just one of your typical romance books. I mean, I really liked it. It was different than the usual ones I read just because obviously the girl was a bodyguard. So I gave it 4 stars, which means it's a really good book and I would recommend it. Okay, next I read The Warsaw Orphan. This was given to me by my bestie Ava. I really like this book. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I remember like almost crying when reading it. It was really good, and I was sort of, for some reason, expecting it to be kind of boring, but honestly it was pretty engaging the whole time and I really enjoyed it. Okay, next I read the second in the Shatter Me series, Unravel Me. I gave it 4 stars again. It was a good read, but you know, not like my favorite book of all time. And once again, I'm just waiting for Juliet and Warner. I know they like end up together, but like it's taking so long and I'm impatient. So I only got through the first 2 books. Maybe I'll get through the third. this year. Next, I read True Colors by Kristen Hanna. It was pretty slow at the beginning, and throughout it was pretty slow too. It took me a while to get like engaged, but eventually I did. It was a good book, but I mean, it wasn't like amazing to me. I gave it 3.5 stars. The writing was good, but I don't know. Next, I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. This book has a lot of hype around it. I liked it, but I don't know. For some reason, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't love the characters. I don't know why, because people say the main guy reminds them of Dylan O'Brien, and I love Dylan O'Brien, but I don't know. I gave it 3.5 stars. I like People Leave Me on Vacation way better, so. Next, I read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and I just recently saw the movie too. I gave the book a 4.5. I really enjoyed it, and I did like the movie too. I liked the book better, but I actually read the book in like one day, which shows it's fast-paced and you really want to know what's gonna happen. Next, I read Your Fault, the second in the Colpa Mia series, and I liked this one better than the first. I gave it 3.5 stars. Still not amazing in my opinion. Next, I read The Great Gatsby, which I had read in English class in school, but that was before I liked reading, so I want to read it again and see if I liked it more. And I really loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I was thinking about making it a 5. I don't know. I really like the movie too. I just love it. Yeah. Moving on, I read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I actually really enjoyed this one. I wasn't sure but if I would, but I gave it 4 stars. I read it during the summer and it was good vibes. I would really recommend it. So next I read Our Fault, the third of the Colpa Mia series, or the Colpa series, I guess you would say. I gave it 4 stars, so that's actually the highest rating. It was good, because I also didn't know what was going to happen, because I hadn't watched the movie first. I thought the book was way better than the movie for this one, personally. I don't know, the movie felt a little rushed to me. The book was good, and yeah, I'd recommend. Okay, next, my only 5-star read of the whole year was One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I love Carly Fortune. I read like all her books. It had been a while since I read a romance book that I thought was like perfect, you know? And that's when I give it 5 stars, when it's perfect or like it leaves a big impact on me or it makes me cry. This one was perfect and I didn't get annoyed by any of the main characters. It was during summer and I read it over the summer, which was just like the perfect vibe, and I wouldn't change anything about it. Like, I loved it. So yeah, I would really recommend that. Next, I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. It was really good and I'm really excited for the movie. It's also a historical fiction taking place during World War II. Those are my favorite historical fiction books. It was really amazing, and yeah. Okay, next I read The Diary of Anne Frank. I didn't rate this one because I don't know, that just like feels not right to rate it, you know? But it was really good, and I have gone to the Anne Frank house hideaway in Amsterdam, so I just felt like I should finally read it. And yeah, love Anne. Next, I read The Alchemist because I know that that was like a popular book for people to read in school, but I had never read it and I was just curious. I don't love like spiritual, philosophical books like that. I don't know, I'm more of like a fun reader, but I gave it 2.5. I mean, if that's like the kind of book you like, maybe you'd like it more. I get why people like it, it just wasn't for me. Next, I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I liked like where it was set in like a snowy, isolated, mountainous place, but I don't know, I didn't love the ending, and throughout I just felt confused kind of, and I kind of don't love that. But if you like that vibe, you know, go for it. Okay, next I read Magnolia Parks. I had heard so much hype about this book and I was so excited to finally read like a good romance book, and I did not like it. I gave it 2.5 stars. I just didn't like the writing. I didn't like any of the characters. I just hated it the whole time I was reading it and was waiting for it to get better. From the first page, I was like, wait, what's going on? People say it gets better if you keep reading, but honestly, I'm not gonna keep reading. So that's all I have to say about that. Next, I read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, another really popular book. I did enjoy it. It did feel like really long to me, but I read it in a week. It was good. It was like a lot happened. I don't even know what else to say about it, but it was a good book. I gave it 4 stars, so I would recommend. Next, I read Ward D by Frida McFadden. Love Frida this year. Ward D I gave 4 stars. It was a good book. I did like the twist at the end. It wasn't like my favorite thriller ever, but it was a good book and I read it pretty quick. I read it in like 4 days, so. Next, I read Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. Lynn Painter is like my favorite author. I loved Fake Skating so much. I gave it 4.5 stars. Probably my second favorite romance book of the year. I wasn't expecting to love it because I don't love like hockey. Well, not me literally reading a hockey book right now. Now I like hockey. Yeah, I did really like it. I loved the characters. I love the childhood best friends trope, so it's really good and I'd recommend. Okay, next I read The Teacher by Frida McFadden and I gave it 4 stars. It was good, and once again, I didn't expect the twist at the end. I was like going back and seeing how that even made sense. I was like, wait, but I did like it a lot. I love a teacher trope. Next, I read 1984. It's also George Orwell and one of his most popular books. I did like this one. I gave it 4 stars again because it was kind of slow at times, but once you got into it, it was like more interesting and it was pretty realistic, and I guess it made me think about things that could happen that I've never thought about before, you know? Okay, next I read The Song of Achilles, which is my bestie Molly's favorite book ever. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea what it was about going in, and I don't know, I don't love Greek mythology, but it was interesting and it kept me hooked throughout. And gave it, oh wait, I didn't even rate it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars because I did really like it. Or maybe 4.5, I don't know, I'm bad at rating sometimes. The last book I read was The Lightning Thief, on the Greek mythology theme. I don't know why I read 2 in a row, but yeah, The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson, book 1. I got into reading like kind of later, and I felt like I wasn't included in the fandom, and I did like it. I don't know if I'll keep reading them, at least not right away. I don't know, I think I'll give it like 3.5 stars. Maybe I'm just like too old for it now, but yeah, those were all the books that I've read in 2025. So please let me know your opinions on these books, or if you have any recommendations for what I should read in 2026. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys.